这个历程。
If you're visiting the Zion National Park, you've definitely heard of or have at least seen pictures of the Narrows hike. In this video, I'm going to teach you some tips and tricks that we learned while visiting, and hopefully it'll make your day a little easier. If you learned something, we'd appreciate it if you subscribe to our channel. When you first arrive, you're going to realize you're going to be spending a lot of time around the Zion Outfitters store, as it's really close to one of the main entrances to the park. For the majority of the hikes that we did in the park, we would use their parking lot because it was very easily accessible to the shuttle. Parking here is $30 per day, as it is most of the places along the road. When it comes to hiking the Narrows, the water is typically pretty cold, and to some people it might be even unbearable. So you're going to want to rent some equipment, and lucky for you, Zion Outfitters has everything that you need to rent for the day. Courtney and I rented their neoprene socks along with their recommended boots, and we also got a walking stick, but they do offer waders as well. For the items we rented, it ended up costing about $73 for the both of us. Once you have your gear, you're going to have to sign a waiver at the little kiosk. Now you're ready to make your way a little south of the Zion Outfitters to the bridge that leads you into the main park. There's a little tiny building on the other side of the bridge where you have to check in if you have a park pass, and if not, you have to buy one. If you follow the path a little past that, it'll take you to the Zion Canyon Visitor Center, where you can get maps and information about any trail you might be doing. You can also fill your water for free or camel pack, which I highly recommend before doing any hike. Now that you have everything you need, it's time to hop on a shuttle and get to the Narrows. Bus stop number 9 is where you're going to want to hop off the shuttle bus, as it's going to drop you off at Riverside Walk. There are restrooms here in case you forgot to go before you left. Before you can enter the Narrows, you have to walk down the Riverside Walk for about 2.2 miles, and it's all paved and easily accessible for everybody. The views are great, and you're also probably going to see a lot of wildlife along the way. Just remember not to feed them, because if you get caught, you will get a fine. You'll eventually run into the staircase that'll take you down into the river, where you can begin the Narrows hike. You'll be walking on giant boulders pretty much the entire hike, so I definitely recommend wearing shoes that have ankle support. Like I said earlier, the water does get pretty cold, so if you do not like the cold, you can put on waders like the guys in the right are wearing. There are sections of the river that get deep as you go in, and for us it didn't take very long, only about 10 minutes of walking before the water was about waist high. So if you have camera equipment or anything valuable, I would highly recommend bringing a waterproof bag or hold it over your head like what we did. I probably wouldn't bring my expensive camera next time I did this hike. A GoPro would have been just fine for any photo or video I wanted. Walking through the river at the bottom of the canyon definitely provides some amazing views along the way. There are some sections of the river where climbing might be necessary, so keep that in mind. In some places on the trail, it'll get pretty skinny. As you make your way further down the river, you'll finally find the first fork in the trail. This area of the river is known as the Orderville Gulch. It'll take you just a little over 2 hours to get to this location, just casually walking and taking photos along the way. We got a late start on the hike, so we didn't want to miss our shuttle bus, and we had to turn around at this location. If you go right at the canyon, it'll take you to an area where the walls are really skinny, and it's a really cool place for photography. Continuing on the trail left in the fork will take you up the river even further. Just remember, when you're hiking the Narrows, you don't have to necessarily make it to a certain point to enjoy the hike. The entire thing is amazing, and you're going to get great views regardless of how far you go in. Just always make sure to keep up with your time and don't get stuck in a place where you realize you don't have enough time to make it back to the shuttle, because if you walk 4 hours in, you're going to have to walk 4 hours right back out. If you want to hike the entire length of the Narrows, it'll take you to a place called Big Springs, where there's a lot of little waterfalls and a lot of great scenery to view. It'll take you about 8 to 9 hours to get there and back. That about wraps up this guide on the Narrows hike. If it helps you out, please leave a like on the video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'd really appreciate it. Here's a little hyperlapse I made of Courtney as we were leaving the Narrows trail.